Hello, my name is Jim Mulaney from SciTech Process Solutions. Today is Thursday, March 15th, 2018. Hope everyone's getting ready for a nice St. Patrick's Day celebration this Saturday. I'm Irish, so I can say that. So, I'm doing a video source inspection today on two Semi-Tool 870Ss. For the privacy of our customers, we do not give their name out on our video source inspections, but I will reference their purchase order number, which is 1195P as in Paul, 0000007549. These systems have pretty much most of the options that people would buy for the Semi-Tool spin rinse dryer. What I'll go ahead and review is what these options are. Around the back, let me just check here. Okay, I can see the resistivity monitor, the resistivity probes in. So we have the resistivity option. I see we have the DI recirculation coming out. It's an adjustable DI recirculation, and that recirculates into the drain box. That's there. Let me look in the chamber now. And I see the anti-static modules. As you'll notice, when I open the chamber, did you hear the N2 turn on? We'll talk about that a little bit later. Actually, I'll talk about it now, but I won't show you the demo. These systems have the upgraded SciTech Slick Device S1 controller. It's the most sophisticated state-of-the-art controller available on any spin rinse dryer worldwide. It's a graphical interface system. It has data analysis. It has trending. We also have options on, we're the only company that we know of that can notify you when your anti-static module goes bad or it's not running within parameters. We also notify you, which the Semi-Tool controller does not do, on the N2 heater, if that's not working, and that could be the N2 heater or the pressure switcher. But we notify you of that. And we have a lot of different troubleshooting guidelines. But what we do offer also is called the SciTech N2 Saver. And what that is I'm going to close this door here, is Semi-Tool realized there's a high cost of nitrogen throughout when a tool stays idle in a fab, and customers were spending a lot of money. So they came out with what they call the N2 Purge Saver valve assembly. And what that is on the incoming N2 back here, it's behind this poly skins, you have a valve assembly that on the Semi-Tool controller, if you turn the controller off, then the valve, it's a normally closed valve, stays closed, and there's no nitrogen being used. The problem is customers really didn't like it as much because they had to power their tool down every time they walked away and power back every time they came to save this nitrogen. What SciTech has done through our very sophisticated system and is that we have the N2 Purge Saver valve assembly. It's actually our version of it, which if you turn this controller off, it'll turn off also. But what we have is this. If I go into menu, and I go into settings, N2 Saver on or off. You can see that icon right there. We also have the capability of turning the anti-static on or off. So if you don't want to run anti-static, you simply turn it off or turn it back on. The N2 Purge Saver, now it's off. So notice how you heard the N2 start up again? Because now we're not saving N2. It's a regular rinser dryer. If the N2 Saver is on, it closes the valve. So the key thing for that is that it'll go off in a second now. Because whenever you go back to the main home screen, it turns on for 20 seconds before it turns off. The reason is, what we've done is we have our system set up that when you're running process, you have your N2 flowing all the time. That means you have your low pressure purge flowing, your anti-static air flowing, and your labyrinth seal flowing. And then what happens at the end of process, we have a 20-second countdown where we turn all the N2 off. We do that now because you're in an N2 environment, and when you come back and acknowledge, either you have to acknowledge the process or open the door, and then after 20 seconds, the N2 turns off. So then when the operator walks away, when they're not running the tool, the system turns itself off on N2 and saves N2. Right when you come back, when you open the door, the N2 starts back up, and I'll show you that in a second. So at the end of this process, we'll go ahead and demonstrate that, but it's one of the huge values of these controllers. We're doing the preliminary numbers now. We have figured out, depending on what you pay for a liquid N2, that the rate of return for payback on this controller will be anywhere from 12 to 18 months, and actually sometimes faster. And then after that, it's free. So besides, customers that upgrade to our controller and our valve assembly, besides getting the state-of-the-art controller, multiple recipe processing, all the analytics come with our controller. You have anti-static control. you have N2 control, you have all the troubleshooting guidelines, you'll see all the errors I'll go through. You also pays for itself, and then you, after the 12 to 18 months, it's free money to the fab. Imagine if you're saving $4,000 a head per system and you have, call 50 heads, you're talking $200,000 a year in savings just because you've upgraded the site to controller, and in 5 years you've saved $1 million. So it's a very positive thing. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and run the process, and we'll talk about the N2 purge statement later. I have a very simple process in here. It's a traditional semi-tool process. We're doing a short run for 40-second rinse, purge, which what that is that purges the water out of the air line, the water line before the air comes in. Then we do dry one, which is a high RPM dry. It's a shorter duration, a higher RPM. It's meant to sling the water off of the wafer, the cassette, and the rotor. Then you move into dry 2, which is the longer, lower RPM dry. And what you use centrifugal force, hot N2, and then the N2 bowl heaters to dry the process. So this customer, what I didn't say is this customer has bought multiple units from us. It's a fab expansion. We've already shipped 4 systems. We're shipping these 2 systems, and we still have 3 more systems that are in our manufacturing currently to go to them. So it's a nice fab expansion for us. And it's located in California, our backyard. And this customer is very happy, has been buying from us for years. All right, so in a traditional wafer fab, I will do like as an operator. I come walking in. As you notice, my N2 turned on like it's supposed to. I would have then now put my wafers inside of the cassette, in the rotor, and start the process. I'll do the same thing for all 4 heads. You hear that? Now this N2 turned on. Load it, and start the process. You'll see the same thing over here. N2 turned on. I'll load your cassette, start the process. And I'll do the bottom one. N2 turned on. Load your cassette. There we go. So now while we're running the process, to talk about our controller a little bit. As you can see, it talks about the rinse step, what the RPM is, what the time is. You can use, it's color coded. Green means on, so you can see the LPP valve and the rinse valve are on. You can also see over there, you can see what step it's on. You currently have the time and the date. Here's 3/15/2018. You have your resistivity value. Now you went into the next step. As you saw, the N2 purge valve turned on and the LPP valve on, and watch what happens when it goes into dry. There you go. Our N2 heater turned on, our bowl heater turned on. So graphically, you can see what's happening here. You can see the bowl heaters turned on red. The N2 heater's red, which means they turned on. The green means valves are opening. Green 20 PSI sensor means it's working. So this intelligent controller is graphically interfaced, plus actually you can read what's going on or visually see what's going on. We also, this customer did upgrade to our light acknowledgement system. Green means you're running process, everything's good. Amber means process is over, and then you'll have, if there's an alert, it turns red. We also have, which I'll show you in a second after the process, we have a maintenance mode that if, let's say there's an issue with the rinser dryer, a lot of fabs put up and down signs on there. We actually have, you can go in there, click a button, and it's called maintenance needed, and we have a light that goes multicolor cycling, so it means the system's down. So it's very easy to see. As you can see, these machines are running beautifully. They're totally quiet. There's no vibration. If you were a customer and you received these machines, you would think they're brand new. Cytec's internal policy, as the leader in manufactured rinser dryers worldwide now, we feel that a tool, even though it's been refurbished, it should look 95% new. And we'd like to say 100% new, but you can't really do that if you do a remanufactured tool. But we like to say it runs and looks like it's 95%. It runs at 100%, as you can see, but it looks beautiful. So no one would even know that these have been remanufactured. What I'll do is now we're in the dry 2, which is elongated dry. I'll talk about our remanufacturing process. We actually, we build any type system, 300 millimeter, 200 millimeter, 150, down to small, weird substrates. We also do our own designs of rotors and cassettes. We can do custom cassette for customers. So when we get an order for a tool, let's say it's this system. We take it down to the bare frame in our manufacturing area. We take all the critical metal parts out, the bowl, the N2 manifold, some of the back labyrinth seal parts, they go through a re-electro polishing and cleaning process. We also then reprocess the bowl, so if there's any past contaminants, they're gone. We then start, we take all the valves, the motors, the heater blankets, the pressure sensors, everything is rebuilt and or tested. If it doesn't work 100%, it's replaced. If it's a side-tech controller, it's a brand new controller. If it's a semi-tool controller, we have complete controller repair and refurbishment at our facility that we actually refurbish the controllers before they go in. And we also do the LC4 amp repairs. So we offer turnkey on everything. Excuse me. So what we do then is we build all the up at the component level into small parts. When the bowls come back, we then go ahead and start the dry build. We build the system up out of manufacturing. Once the system is done, we have a quality control list that we have another technician come over and quality control the work. If the system passes, which it does usually 95% of the time because the tech who built the tool has their own checklist, then it gets passed back on to the original technician. If there's any issues, they're documented. If the technician must repair those issues, and then the cycle repeats itself until someone signs off the total machine. Once it signs off in dry test, it's moved into wet test. In wet test, let me show you something over here too, just a second. If I can show you. If you move over here, this is a system. This customer wanted the 101 controllers. These are going to China. The system is then brought in and put in just to the frame. We then hook the water up to it, and we do debugging with DI on and make sure there's no leaks on any of the valving back here. We make sure all the fittings are tight. And then we run the same quality checklist that has to be done. Once the system passes the DI checklist, it's ran 50 times as a burn-in mode. And during that 50 times, we watch the valves, we check the heaters, we look for leaks, we check all the sensors, make sure everything's working well. If it passes the 50-run process, it then is put back in to its configuration. We put our skins back on it, and then it's passed over to sales for us to do our video source inspections. We have about 51 seconds, okay. And then that normal process takes about 3 to 5 days. It sounds like it's fast, but it takes 3 to 5 days because of our quality control. Then what happens is we then come in, we do a video source inspection for the customer, acting like the customer, making sure the quality of the tool is there, make sure the options are correct, and make sure that it's done right. We then will send this link to the customer via our private YouTube page or our Dropbox, depending on where they're located, and they'll review the video and sign it off and say, yes, it's okay to ship the tools, and we create them and ship them. So we've actually remanufactured over 2,000 systems, so we've far and away the leader in the world on remanufacturing tools, and we understand everything and anything about the Richard dryers. Okay, process is over. And you'll see they're all going to start ending here. So nitrogen is still on. So what happens is it'll stay on because if the operator's down the fab area, let's say they're over in this diffusion and they're taking some wafers out of the furnace, and there's no one here to take the wafers out, you want them to stay under a positive N2 pressure. If you acknowledge process over or open the door, which does the same thing, that's when we're going to turn off the nitrogen. And you'll see that in a second. So let's say that these systems are done. Blue means process is over. It means come unload me. So I'm now the operator. I come walking over and I open the door. All right. So I can still hear nitrogen. I like to feel for the hot end too. Nice and hot. Let's look at the wafers. They look good. As you can see, the light turn amber. That means we've acknowledged process over. I'm going to put these back in there. Excuse me. But imagine I took them away and I closed the door. I'll do the same thing here. Feel for the hot end too. Super. So now there would be no wafers in here in a traditional fab. You're going to hear in 20 seconds, we're going to turn off all the nitrogen. Same thing here. Acknowledge. As you saw the light change, acknowledge. Hot end too. Wafers look good. Hot end too, good. Wafers look good. All right. Now you can see amber means the tools are in ready position. And what you're going to start hearing now is the nitrogen will start turning off one at a time. We'll wait till that happens. Okay, heard it's getting quieter. This system is totally turned off. This one's off. All we have is one on. This will probably turn off in a couple seconds. There we go. See, now the operator has moved the cassettes. The systems are sitting at an idle position. There's no wafers in there because I would have taken them out and walked away. Look at it. We're not using N2 anymore. Complete savings, and the tool is ready to run immediately on the next process. You don't turn the controller back on. It's ready to go. I'll do a little bit of training on the controller here, if you don't mind. I'll show you. Recipes. We have 20 recipes to choose from, so the customer can have multiple recipes. You just process the recipe by, if you're on this step, and I can change it to 20 seconds, enter. I'm going to change it back down to 10 because we keep the same process, enter, and you just hit save. And then whatever recipe you're on, when you go back to the main screen, it goes. As I stated before, whenever you go back to the main screen, we turn the N2 back on for 20 seconds because we feel that if someone is working within the controller, they're probably going to start running in process, so we have that turn on automatically. Let's go to the menu now again. So some other things. Settings. We have our clock. We have our brightness. We have our volume. Password protection. We have 2 levels of password. We have the main login password and we have a maintenance password. So if you want to have a protected one, you can. We have the anti-static option to turn on and off, and the N2 saver that I spoke about. Let me go back to the menu here. We also have idle cycle and alarms. The alarm screen is, we have alarms. If there was a problem with the process, which we didn't because of our high quality manufacturing, actually I'll show you. I'm going to turn off, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to get back in here. I want to open this up. Now I'm going to turn off the N2. Where I physically turned it off, why the tool thinks it should be on. Red means alarm. Notice all 4 alarmed. So what happens is the alarm button here, click on it, N2 failure. It immediately notified you visually that the N2 was not there. We also have an audible alarm, but most customers have opted to go with visual only, not having there's a visual auto alarm, but there's so many noises in a fab now that people didn't, most customers did opt not to have that. And red means there's a problem, and obviously you can see it's red. So then I can go through, there's the alarm there. Now watch, I'll turn the N2 back on. It's going to come back on again because it's going to error again. Just a second. Oops, I need to get out of the screen though first, sorry. There we go. It knows there's no N2, so it's safe. Got a problem. Let me turn the N2 back on. The systems are smart. They clear the error themselves because they knew there was N2 back on. Again, when you turn the N2 back on, it goes kind of to default state, turns on the N2 for 20 seconds before the purge saver comes on. So let me go into now some more things in the menu. Manual mode. A warning that you should not be an operator in manual mode because you override a lot of safety features. Yes, I have agreed. Also, we have data logging. So we have data logging on our computer where you can pull the data, anything that's happened with the controller during any kind of time frame. So if an operator says, oh, the machine has a problem, and let's say they turned something on they weren't supposed to, and they try to say they didn't, an engineer can go to the data log, look at it, and say, well, I can see that you actuated, I have read an agreed button, which means you bypass the safety features. So we can turn on different valves. If I want to turn on the door, whoops, I'm going to do the top one. Well, this is the bottom one. Door's locked now. I can open the door. Door is unlocked. RSP fires. See? Now when I hit the RSP again, it'll upright. Perfect. We got the N2 sensor. As you see, another warning, never bypass the security interlocks. It's warning you. So now you know you can turn all valves off if you want to just turn everything off and practice on things, so you can. You can turn the LPP back on, and so forth. This is good for maintenance people trying to debug a tool. Sensors. Our sensors, we have, it looks for the heater blanket. sensor, the N2 supply sensor. So you can see we have all the sensor capability. All right, heaters and anti-static. This is where during the process you can monitor if I want to. And let's say I'm wondering about heat, I can physically turn on, got kind of loud there because I turned it on, the N2 heater. You can see the water's being used. Anti-static, I can see the anti-static. It's pulsing as it should. So we can see the anti-static module. Bowl heater, turned on. You can see it's drawing the current, the correct current, and it's working fine. Resistivity, you can. This is where if you want to calibrate your resistivity. In the past, it turns out that most people had to, when the resistivity probes they thought were bad, it turns out you can, with our software, you can change the variables in the resistivity probe. What happens is when the wafer fabs have different temperatures, that will give you a different resistivity reading on the water. Using our system, you can tell what the temperature is, so you don't have to throw away resistivity probes. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I turned on the rinse valve, sorry. All manual, kind of a bigger screen. This is like, if I want to do some testing, I want to run this RPM at 500. Let's see if it works. It's warning me, I can't spin unless you close the door and lock the door, which makes sense. So I'm going to lock the door. Now I'm going to spin. See down here? Remember, I just turned the water on. It's spinning. So you can do testing if you need to. I'll turn it off. You'll see it'll stop spinning in a second. There we go. And it's warning it's breaking. Alrighty, let's get out of this screen. Alrighty. Alrighty. Let's see if there's anything more I want to show you today. Alright. Auto Cycle. We can turn on, we have Auto Cycle built into every one of our controllers. You can either run it on or off, and you can have it turns on every whatever amount of hours you want, and then you can program what you'd like. Let's say if I want to run every hour, I just put it to 2. And then it'll do that to go, and it'll start a countdown when you start the process. And you can actually set your auto cycle, or you can actually it's set like that's how you turn it on, right there. I'm going to turn it off though. We don't run auto cycle right here, so you can do your auto cycle. You can, or by days, whatever you want. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Let's see what else we got here. One more thing, cleaning. If you have particle issues, we tell you to call Cytec, and we'll walk you through it. We know how to do all particle troubleshooting, and it makes it real easy. Okay, so that will conclude this video demonstration of 2 fully remanufactured 870S spinner and striers. They've been upgraded to the Cytec Slick Device S1 graphical interface controller. Again, the most sophisticated controller you can buy in any rinser dryer worldwide. As you saw with the N2 Purge Saver, valve assembly, and our software. There you go. It turned off again like it's supposed to. We can save the fab thousands of dollars per head throughout the year. So it's a great thing. We've had customers right now in the last 3 months, or 6 months I should say, about 90% of all orders have upgraded to this system. And now we're shipping controllers worldwide on a regular basis. And fabs are getting the first or second one, then buying 4, 5, 6 at a time now because of the quality of and the value of our controller. So if there's any questions, my name is Jim Mullaney from Cytec Process Solutions. One other thing before I end. If you go to our website, it's www.cytecprocess.com. On the left-hand side, we have buttons for different categories. The first 7 buttons are all semi-tool related. The first 3 are machines. The S model, the F as in Frank model, and the traditional ST. The next 3 buttons are the spare parts for the tools. The first one is S. For reference, we have spare parts for every single part of this machine. New motors, new amps, new controllers, new heater blankets, new rotostop positioners designed by Cytec, new everything. And we offer full repairs on any part you have. So we offer full support on the rinser dryers. We also, if you're on our website, we do quite a lot with the Integros HTC box washers. We currently have 6 systems on back order. They're very large, expensive systems. We're the world leader on the remanufacturing of those. We do quite a lot of mask and wafer scrubbers. We do a lot of metrology, KLA, 10-core particle counters. We do different high and low power microscopes. We also do etch equipment. and photolithography. We do quite a lot actually of photoresist pumps, IDI, millipore, cyber pump rebuilds, and supplying customers. So we offer a full range of equipment. So that will now conclude my video presentation of two 870S spin rinse dryers upgraded to the Slick Device S1 controller with the light indicators and with the N2 purge saver. They've been fully manufactured. They look brand new. We're going to send this off today to the customer. If they accept it tomorrow, we'll get them crated, and then we'll begin the next 3 builds for the customer. If there's any questions, you can feel free to call our main number at 916-797-9000, and you can ask for anyone in the sales department. Also, if this video is being reviewed worldwide, we have distributors all through Europe and the Southeast Asia that you can feel free to contact us, and we can put you in direct contact with our distributors. Again, today is Thursday, March 15th, 2018. My name is Jim Mullaney. Thank you very much.